KHC Kraft Heinz Technical Analysis. General Overview and Trend. Kraft Heinz stock has displayed moderate volatility over the past 3 months, trading within a relatively narrow range between 25.5 and 29.2. The current price of 26.93 reflects a consolidation phase following a brief peak in late July. The stock has been oscillating around key moving averages without establishing a clear directional trend. Recent price action shows limited momentum, with the stock struggling to sustain gains above 28.0. The overall trend appears neutral to bearish in the short term, as evidenced by the failure to hold higher levels and persistent selling pressure near resistance zones. The stock lacks strong directional conviction, suggesting market uncertainty about the consumer staples sector. Price and volume. Volume patterns reveal interesting dynamics, with significant spikes occurring during key price movements. Notably, the September 2nd session saw exceptionally high volume of 43.4 million shares, coinciding with a sharp decline to 26.02, indicating strong selling pressure. The following day's recovery to 26.93 occurred on lower volume of 19.1 million shares, suggesting weak buying interest. The on-balance volume indicator at negative 70.7 million confirms persistent net distribution over the period. Recent volume has been elevated compared to the summer average, but without consistent accumulation patterns. The Chaikin oscillator at 3.99 million shows some positive money flow divergence, but this appears insufficient to reverse the broader distribution trend. Price-volume relationships generally confirm weakness during declines and lackluster participation during rallies. Moving averages, ENA and SMA. The current price of 26.93 trades below most key moving averages, indicating short-term weakness. Short-term averages show bearish alignment. The 5-day SMA at 27.29 and EMA at 27.12 both sit above the current price. Medium-term indicators reinforce this, with the 20-day SMA at 27.53 and EMA at 27.47 also above current levels. Longer-term averages provide perspective. The 50-day SMA at 27.35 and EMA at 27.48 are slightly above current price, while the 200-day SMA at 28.92 and EMA at 28.94 represent significant overhead resistance. The flattening of medium-term moving averages suggests consolidation rather than trend development. The price position below most moving averages, combined with the downward slope of shorter averages, indicates near-term bearish momentum despite the longer-term stability. Technical indicators. Momentum indicators paint a mixed picture with bearish leanings. RSI 14 at 45.38 indicates neutral territory, but with downward momentum. Williams %R at negative 51.77 confirms the absence of strong directional pressure. MACD shows negative momentum at negative 0.095, trading below its signal line at 0.019, with a negative histogram of negative 0.114, indicating bearish acceleration. Stochastic oscillators reflect this weakness, with Stoch K15 at 55.48 and Stoch D15 at 67.02, showing declining momentum. The money flow index at 35.83 suggests moderate selling pressure. Trend indicators reveal weakness. ADX at 13.24 indicates a weak trend, while Aroon down at 96 dominates Aroon up at 4, confirming bearish momentum. The Parabolic SAR at 28.08 sits above price, reinforcing the bearish structure. Volatility measures show Bollinger bands contracting, with the upper band at 28.41 and lower band at 26.65, suggesting reduced volatility potential. Linear regression. While explicit regression values aren't provided, the price trajectory clearly shows a flattening trend with slight downward bias. The stock has been trading in a narrowing range, with recent highs and lows forming lower peaks and troughs. The regression slope would likely show minimal negative inclination, with prices oscillating around a regression line. The deviation from moving averages remains modest, reflecting the consolidation phase. The linear regression analysis would indicate a neutral to slightly bearish trend with low momentum, consistent with the stock's inability to break out of its trading range. Next trading day opening prediction. Given the current price of 26.93 and mixed technical signals, the next session will likely open near current levels, potentially between 26.80 and 27.0. The weak MACD momentum and bearish moving average alignment suggest limited upside potential. However, the oversold stochastic readings and neutral RSI indicate possible stabilization. The overnight futures sentiment and broader market direction will be crucial, but the technical structure favors a flat to slightly lower opening. A gap down toward 2650 is possible if negative sentiment prevails, while a gap up above 2720 seems unlikely without significant positive catalysts. Resistance and support analysis and intraday movement. Current price at 26.93 faces immediate resistance at the 5-day SMA of 27.29, followed by the 10-day SMA at 27.48 and the 20-day SMA at 27.53. The Bollinger Band middle line at 27.53 provides additional resistance. Support levels are closer, with the Bollinger Band lower at 26.65 and the September 2nd low of 26.02 serving as critical support. The price's position near support suggests potential for intraday bounces, but the overall bearish alignment of indicators favors range-bound movement. Intraday movements will likely feature early weakness testing support levels, followed by minor recoveries toward moving averages before renewed selling. The contracting Bollinger Bands indicate limited volatility potential, with possible swings between 2670 and 2720 within the session. Intraday high and low estimates based on ATR-14. With ATR-14 at 0.72, the expected intraday range spans approximately 1.44 points. Calculating from the 26.93 close, potential highs reach 27.65, 26.93 plus 0.72, while possible lows extend to 26.21, 26.93 minus 0.72. However, given the weak momentum and consolidation context, the actual range may be narrower, with highs more likely limited to 27.30 and lows supported near 26.60. The recent volatility contraction suggests potential for even tighter ranges, but the proximity to support levels could trigger brief spikes. Traders should anticipate morning lows near 26.70 to 26.80, with afternoon bounces toward 27.00 to 27.10 before potential closes near session lows. Possible scenarios. The consolidation scenario appears most probable, with the stock continuing to trade between 26.50 and 27.50 as the market awaits clearer directional signals. This could involve forming a base or continuation pattern. The bearish breakdown scenario would require a close below 26.00, potentially triggering a decline toward 25.50, supported by the weak technical structure and volume patterns. The bullish reversal scenario remains least likely, but would need a decisive close above 27.50, 20-day SMA, potentially targeting 28.00. However, the lack of momentum indicators supporting this makes it improbable without significant positive catalysts. The most probable path involves continued range-bound trading with slight downward bias, reflecting the broader market uncertainty. Conclusion: Kraft Heinz stock demonstrates weak technical structure with neutral to bearish indicators across most metrics. The price position below key moving averages, negative momentum readings, and distribution volume patterns create a cautious technical picture. While support levels may provide temporary cushions, the overall technical structure favors further downside or prolonged consolidation. Investors should monitor the 26.00 support level closely, as a breakdown could accelerate losses toward 25.50. Risk management remains essential, given the potential for breakdowns, with the 27.50 resistance level serving as a critical pivot point. The technical evidence suggests the stock remains in a consolidation phase with bearish leanings, and KHC appears vulnerable to further weakness unless significant positive catalysts emerge. The convergence of weak momentum indicators and distribution patterns warrants caution for bullish positions.